touch, being touched, everybody feels that there could be more of it.
So hi everyone, thank you for joining us in this video about the importance of touch in our life.
Yes, and touch, as you all know, is rather something magical. It can make us feel much better. We feel that we need it, and I'm almost sure that all of you are aware that it is one of our basic needs. Nevertheless, we often forget how we actually sense touch, and that we are constantly sensing our surrounding and are touched by it.
We often give a lot of attention to all of our senses. We look at what we see. We are very much interested in tastes and in smells and in what we can hear, but we are not giving the same kind of importance and time and attention to our ability to sense our touch, what we touch.
When was the last time that actually you gave it some importance, to understand that it can be maybe a sense that you can train just like any other?
Many times when we relate to touch, we relate to our needs for touch, which no doubt all of us needs touch. No doubt that many of us feel that we need to be touched maybe in a different way, maybe in more times or in different times of our life.
But when we look at touch and being touched, we actually refer to our sense of touch, to our ability to actually perceive our surrounding through being affected by it, and it gives us an experience, and through it we can define ourselves and who we are, and it actually allows us to connect with us.
So the profession of being Pantarei practitioners is based quite a lot on our ability to touch, to communicate through touch. And when we looked at what is it that we are doing, and how can we use the same principle even with people who are not necessarily get touched in that way, we realize that we are actually talking about the sense of touch.
Our sense of touch is a true masterwork of nature, but often it's so obvious that we forget about it.
When we think about our senses, it's clear that we are giving a lot of attention to the smells, the hearing, the sounds, the taste, what we can see. But how often did you actually invest in what you touch and truly realize what you touch, or truly realize how does it feel when you are being touched?
Our sense of touch is actually always there because it makes us feel ourselves. It is the, you can say, setup that allows us to notice our existence. I can close my eyes and know where I am. It is because I have a sense of touch that constantly perceives my surrounding, myself, and through it actually allows me to know where I am, who I am, how do I feel.
So touch is not only when our hands touch another person. It's not only when the hands of someone else touches us. Touch is actually about the sense of touch. We sometimes just simply forget it.
And this sense is truly magical. I just want to give you an example. It's one that allows you to feel something even before you are touching it. Just imagine you pass by a hot stove. You don't need to touch the hot plate in order to know that it's hot. It touches you already before. You notice that it's warm.
But touch is so much missing. So many people. It's restricted. It's connected to very specific situations and with very specific people.
If you think that touch was actually our first ways of communication, or to know where we are, to have kind of something that flows in between, yes, in our world today, where we have computers, telephone calls, Zoom meetings, the direct contact that would allow us to use this kind of sense often comes too short.
And again, we are here now in 2020, it's the Corona time, and we are even more restricted from touch. We are suddenly afraid of touch. We are trying to avoid touch, and it doesn't do good for us. It's actually increase loneliness, it increases sensation of helplessness. We suddenly realize something that maybe was there all along, but we didn't notice it because it was naturally happening. Suddenly the lack of touch, the fear of touch brings even more attention to how much it's needed.
You can say this sense, when not in use or when not used with attention, will also kind of withdraw itself. And if you think that it is the sense that gives you a core to your existence, to who you are, that makes you feel who you are, you can already imagine what it would lead to if you are not having that. Feelings of being lost, of not knowing where to center, of actually losing a taste for life because you are not connected in this way would become very obvious. And it's also one of the things that we can see is rising in our culture, with more and more distance between us, with more and more as if technology being there and less attention to being in contact and touched in this way.
I can say touch, again, is a way of us to feel our own existence. The sense of touch allows us to notice us, our existence, our body, our being. And we, in our way of thinking about touch, usually relates to it only as something that we need to do or somebody else needs to do to us. And we forget that we're actually talking about a sense. It's a sense of touch. Just like we would not imagine that we are depends on our setting in order to be able to see, we are also not dependent on people touching us or us touching other human beings in order to be aware of our sense of touch.
There are many different ways how to stimulate this sense, how to actually activate it again. And through this kind of activation, you will get access to being closer to yourself, to know better about you, to actually get a direction, like you have your personal GPS working. It gives you your position in the world and it gives you an idea for the world around you. So you can go into the shower and you simply have a shower and wonder why afterwards you feel so much better. The reasons are not only because you are cleaner and you had the right temperature of water. No, some of the reasons was because when you are there under the shower, you get touched by the water that goes and evolves and envelops all of your body. Part of why we often feel more centered after a shower is because actually indirectly our sense of touch is stimulated from 1 to 100.
In a way, when we pay attention to it, we are constantly being touched. My clothes touch me. The wind touch me. The air around me touch me. There is constant sensation, this chair, this floor, this carpet, if we only give it attention.
Some of you will know that you walk in nature and this is the place that would center you. You will come out of it with clarity of thought, with more hope, with a different direction. So you can say it's the exercise, you can say it's the movement. It's because nature touched you. Actually, the wind in your hair and on your body, the different temperatures, the sounds of the birds, the view, you can say all of this is affecting you. Now, when it comes to the touch of sense, yes, any kind of surrounding touches you and you touch it back.
I can say it's great when you have a partner that you love to be touched by. It's great that you love to touch another human being. But we would like to remind you that the sense of touch is not dependent on that. The sense of touch can be practiced in every second of your life.
If you kind of close your eyes right now, just for a second, and you are feeling around you, and you notice the chair that you are sitting on. You can realize the chair touches you back. You can feel your feet on the ground, and you can feel how the ground is connecting with you. You can notice that you know exactly where you are in the room, where is up, where is down. And if you are now opening your eyes, you will already notice, this made a change in how I am, in how I'm perceiving myself.
And if that is something that is difficult for you, or even if it's not, remember that you can also use your own hands, touch your arms for a moment, and feel what does it do. Feel how much when you are creating that sense, when you are waking this sense up, the present, the existence becomes so much more, so much clearer.
So your sense of touch is actually a great way to connect with yourself and to connect with your surrounding. Next time you find yourself in a situation that centers you, that makes you aware of you, that gives you a sense of who you are, remember it's your sense of touch that probably right now is stimulated, is active, is trained. We would be very curious what these situations are, so write them down in the comments below.
So practice it, enjoy it. We found it to be an incredible practice and a beautiful way to connect to ourselves, to our surrounding and to life. We are really looking forward to hear your thoughts about this topic. Bye!
Bye!